Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Matt, and thank you for stopping by the channel. Now I've got a really fun pattern for you today. This one comes from a young man out in western New York, 15-year-old Josh Wilson. Now he's already been tying for several years, but he says he's just really gotten into it this past year. Now what's really interesting about Josh, he's an avid poultry breeder, and I'm talking some pretty exotic birds, peafowl and golden pheasants and Lady Amherst. And of course, the standard birds, chickens, ducks, turkeys, and geese. We may be talking about the next George Whiting here. Now about this fly, Josh Wilson's Oak Orchard. Oak Orchard Creek runs through his front yard, and that's how he came up with the name. And he's had a lot of luck with this fly. Says he's caught plenty of pike with it on the tributaries from Lake Ontario. Of course, that would be in the bigger sizes. Today I'm going to tie it in a smaller, more like a trout size. But it looks to be a very versatile pattern. It's basically a hybrid between soft hackle and then an old school winged wet fly. So do me a favor and tell Josh what you think about his fly in the comments. I think he came up with a pretty cool one. I like it. I think you're going to like it. Let's give it a shot. So there you go, in the vise. Josh Wilson's hybrid soft hackle winged wet fly. I'm tying this on a size 12. I went ahead and pinched the barb. Well, mostly. Might have to pinch that one again. But standard wet fly hook, 1X long. And I'm going to use black 70 denier. I'll lay a base down to the start of the bend. And for the tail on this guy, golden pheasant tippets. Just these right here. I'm going to grab them by the tip, reach in here and cut about 6 or 8 of them. Pull the main part of the feather out. Now I'm left with my tips. Should still be aligned. Okay, so it's a pretty long tail. I'm going to catch it in right there. I get both bars showing. I like that. So 2 wraps, check my position. Okay, a little flare, but you know what? I like that. So just some loose wraps right here I'm going to let this be part of my underbody. Then take my thread back, almost to the start of the tail. Just a little bit shy. So I can take 2 strands of peacock herl, and I'm going to catch them in right there. I want to go ahead and snip off the brittle ends. It's that fluff I got somewhere from something there. Okay, go ahead and catch this peacock herl in all the way back to where we're going to start wrapping it. Now the body of this thing is in thirds. It's a third peacock herl and a third gray, which I'm going to use mallard flank for the gray, and then another third of the peacock herl. So I'm going to leave this back a little bit, just help that thread keep these 2 strands of herl together, and probably 5 or 6 wraps, whatever you think ends up looking good. And is that a third of it? I think so, pretty close. I'm going to catch this off right here. And you could snip it right now, but I'm just going to leave this. That way I can use the same 2 strands for my front. Okay, now, and this is what Josh used. He used some mallard flank fibers. So I'm going to take a mallard flank feather here, grab some of the long ones, a good maybe 10 fibers right here. And if you don't have a mallard flank, just use something gray. Use some gray, any kind of gray dubbing. You could even use dry fly dubbing, but I'm going to catch this in right here. Okay. And you'll probably want your hackle pliers for this. I got a couple of those fibers sticking forward, so I'm going to go ahead and trim them. I'd probably be able to bury them with the peacock herl, but just as easy to trim them. So I'm going to use the spring-loaded hackle pliers for this guy. So I'll give it a little spin right here and then catch it in. Okay, I got a good grab with my hackle pliers, and I'm going to go ahead and take this up, just a couple more wraps. Now wrap the mid part of your body. Remember, it's going to be about a third, so about the same width or length on the hook as we did for that peacock herl. And I got 1 strand there that kind of got out away from me. So what should I do? Should I try to wrap it or cut it? That is the question. I'm going to cut it. But before I do that, go ahead and get rid of this piece. Now let's see, okay. There's that one strand right there. Probably pluck it. Just as easy to cut it. Okay, so there's the back third and the middle third. Take your thread up just a little bit. Go ahead and spin this a little bit just to keep it together. Now another 4 or 5 wraps right here. Now catch this part of the body off. Go ahead and snip this. Now we're ready for our wing, the old school winged part of this fly. Now I'm using turkey. Josh used some mottled turkey, so I'm using the same. Now for turkey, I kind of cheat a little bit, and I don't use necessarily a left and a right feather. I'm just taking one feather and then snipping off slips from the left and the right side. And you can usually get away with it. See, they don't have too much of natural curve to it. So I'm going to make these, I think the length to the middle of the tail is probably going to be fine right here. So yeah, let's try it right there. My thread's hanging about where I want it to be. So just do a pinch wrap right here, pull it down. I'm not going to pull it tight until I'm on my way back up. And then got 2 wraps. Take a look at it. Might need to adjust. Are those fine? Are they coming off the top? Yeah, they're coming off the top. They got a little bit of messiness to them right there, but you know what? For a fishing fly, this is going to be just fine. So a few tight wraps right here. I can go ahead and snip this front piece off. All right, I got those rolling around a little bit on me. So don't be like me. That's not too awesome. But we're gonna hide most of this with our soft hackle, so I think we can live with it. Speaking of soft hackle, just a speckled hen. This is speckled gray hen. Taking one feather from it. Strip off, get you a stem right there, and we'll catch this in. I'm gonna catch it in from the thick side. So I want some pretty long hackle, long swept back hackle right here. Go ahead and snip this excess right there. Now for this one, I'm gonna use my standard hackle pliers. These clamp on right here. And I'm going to get 2 wraps. I might be able to get 3. We'll see. We'll see if we need 3 after doing 2. So there's 1. And 2 right there. I think we're gonna look better with 3, so let's give it a shot. Okay. That's 3 full wraps right there. Just go ahead and catch this off with a couple of thread wraps. And it's tight enough, I think I can reach in here and snip this excess off. Now it's a little spidery looking right now, but we'll fix that. Just pull these all back and a few wraps right here. I've got one that's not necessarily cooperating, but I think I can fix him. Go right back to the eye and then just ramp this back up. So there we go. I think that head, we could probably make it a little bit bigger, but I think that's going to be big enough. I'm going to go ahead and wet finish it. Now, if you got any cleanup, you might want to pluck some of these off the bottom. I got maybe a couple more than I need, but you know what? I'm going to leave it. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's probably why this fly can be so effective, is that swept back soft hackle and that little bit of turkey wing under it. So that's it, my friends. Josh Wilson's hybrid winged wet fly, soft hackle. It's a pretty cool pattern. I think it's done pretty well for Josh, so I hope some of you folks will give it a try. That's it, everybody. I appreciate you watching. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next time.